Happy 4th of July. Welcome back. Great to see you and great to see so many of you. I'm excited. I didn't have any idea how many would be attending today, but I guess before we get into our festivities, we could take a moment for music. So I'm thrilled to death that you would be here with us. And we're moving into Copacabana now, and I just want to give you two things that I did. We'll go over the music map because as far
Yeah,
Oh, you want, can they
Yeah.
hear us?
it
Um,
is a bit confusing. Or maybe not confusing, but complicated, I suppose. I'm going to mute so I can get rid of some background sound there. You can unmute, certainly. So let's do the music map first, if you will. My music is 5 pages. So when I do play it for you, don't be alarmed when I stand up, because I can't see everything. It's not all laid out the same way. So there'll be some times when I'll be standing and playing versus sitting and playing. But you come through the first page and the second page and then into the third page to ending number 1, box number 1. Then it sends you back to the beginning inside the dots. And you do the first page again and the second page again and the third page up to line 3. When we finish measure 3, then we drop down to box number 2. Then we go on to the next page, and the last page, page 5, the first 3 lines, then it sends you back to that S sign, which is in the beginning of the song, and we play the first page again, the second page, third page, only 2 lines where it says to coda, and we jump over to the very last page and play the coda. So that's the music map, and you may want to highlight it. I highlighted it as well because my eye will catch the color faster than when I'm just looking to find out where I'm supposed to go. So on the second page, line 3, measure 1, there's 3 E's. The lyrics are ask for more. On the second E, beat number 2, there I play an A flat augmented chord. A flat augmented. And of course it has to be played in root. So A flat, C, and E. And then this was kind of interesting. On the 4th page, line 3, it's an F note tied to a dotted half note. And previously, in the previous line, you came through the measure 3, or 4 rather, and you played an E minor chord. Well, when you get to measure 2 on line 3, you need to play an E flat minor. The E minor won't work with that F. So play an E flat minor there. And then it'll sound much, much better. And that's really all the changes I have. I do want to take a look at the 4th page and down on line 3 where the 8th notes start, 8th note quarter, 8th, 8th, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp. And I'm just going to make a note about my fingering. Let me see if I can turn this so maybe you can see my hands here. So in the case where I need a black key, I'm using 1, 2, 3, and then I tuck. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's kind of a run that you really only need 3 fingers, but it goes kind of quickly. Okay, so you might want to check that out before you get started. This is a pretty fast song. Song setup gives me Ethel's fast Latin. You could also, if you prefer, you can use disco. Either will work. It comes on at 120 tempo. Whether you're going to do it at that, that's a different question. Not in the beginning anyway. You want to figure it out first. But it's a fun song to play. And not realizing 2 weeks ago that I'd end up on 4th of July with a song I was going to do 2 weeks ago and then 1 week ago. So I'm sorry that we're not doing patriotic, but best laid plans, you know. Sometimes you have to be flexible. So what the other thing I wanted to tell you about this is, you want to, if you're going to use the intro, you want to use A minor chord for your intro. Don't use G minor. Okay? Let's see. I'm still letting some people in here. Oh my goodness, we're up to 20 people. I'm so excited. What a surprise. So before we go any further, do you have questions?
I do.
Yes.
The E flat minor, what is the fingers for that?
Oh, that is E flat and G flat.
Thank you.
4 and 2. Or you could do 3 and 2. 3 and 2 might be a little bit easier. Okay. Any other questions?
On the last page, there's an A flat minor.
Yes.
What is that one?
That is A flat and B as in boy.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else? Okay, so the first time I play it, I'm going to do it with Ethel's fast Latin, and I'm going to take all the appropriate endings so that you can follow the music map if you're trying to do so. And when I play it on disco, I'll take the second ending and move on. But the first time, I'm going to follow the music map just like it is. Like I said, don't be alarmed if you see me stand up, because that might be the only way I can make these pages work. And I had to put it into pages because I couldn't flip fast enough between the 5 pages of music, so I had to do it that way. So A minor is the intro start. Here we go. Box number 2. How was that?
Oh my God.
I got to look for my leisure suit.
In your what?
I got to find my old leisure suit to put on.
That was fun. It's a fun song to play. So that was Ethel's Fast Latin. And like I said, you won't take that tempo when you start out, but this is a busy melody, very busy for your right hand to play.
That's
And
for
you
sure.
really don't get many breaks until like the 4th page. There we have some ties and holds, but and I really enjoyed the fill. I used the fill when you should hear a more staccato sound, if you will. I used the fill to help me. I'm trying to think where I did that. Oh, on the 2nd page, line 1 into line 2. So I really used the fill there to help me out. Questions?
On page 1, line 3, measure 1.
Page 1, line 3, measure 1, yes.
Those first 4 notes, you played something slightly different there, didn't you?
No?
No?
That's what's written. I might have, one or more times when I did it, I might have changed the rhythm a little bit. You might have heard me do this. I can't swear to it, but. So I made some 16th notes instead of all even 8th notes.
Okay.
But note-wise, I played the notes that were written there. It's busy.
For sure, for sure, for sure.
Joanie, on the 4th page, where do we place that E flat minor?
On line 3, the lyric is ah. It's an F note, whole note, tied to a dotted half note, That's where the E flat minor goes. Good question.
Thank
And
you.
those whole notes that are being tied, I played them as I was on strings back then. I played octaves. See my hands? Let me turn this a little bit for you. Now, when I play octaves, I play 1 and 4. I don't play octaves with my fifth because my span is 9 keys. So if I used my fifth, I'd overshoot and I'd be playing an F and a G. That wouldn't sound good. So I use 1 and 4, 1 and 4, 1 and 4. You do whatever your range is for distance in your hand. You do those fingers for yourself. But that's what I did in case you thought it looked a little funky. Probably did, because most people, when you see them play an octave, they've used their first and their fifth finger. Any other questions? Should we go
Joanie,
on?
I believe on the marquee and probably the aria, I think there is like a song setup for this.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there was song set up for mine, too.
okay.
That's what it chose, Ethel's Fast Latin. That was the song setup on a
Oh,
That's what it
symphony.
is.
That's
That's
on
what
a
it is on
symphony.
the aria too.
It is?
Yeah.
Okay,
okay.
good, yeah. Song setup's nice. It creates no work for you. However, and I say this all the time because people regularly forget, when you do song setup, it only gave you one sound on the upper keyboard and one sound on the lower split. So when you go to change to a different sound, you're going to be on general presets, which God forbid you hit number 5, you're going to get chimes. So when you do song setup, the first thing that you should do is turn on your style setup button, and or yours might be called rhythm preset. Now, all 11 of my sounds up here and down here are coordinated with the Latin. So they'll all be good choices. If you're just doing song setup, then you're only having one sound. It's the rest of those are not activated until you do it yourself.
Joni,
Yes.
I found on the aria anyway, when you select song setup, that sound choice, if you then go and select style setup normal, which is turning on setup 0,
Correct.
that sound setting could be different than what the song setup is.
Yes, it could.
Yeah.
And probably about, I don't know, I would say 50% of the time it is different.
Yes.
I just don't like the limitation of then not being able to change my sound. And especially if you're playing this the way the music map has written it, you can't play the whole thing with just one sound. You need alternative sounds. So
Right.
I find that it's much better to activate normal style setup or rhythm preset, and now I have all the choices I could want. I like the beginning. It started out with 0 was an organ sound. It's Ethel's organ. And then I went to number 4, which was an orchestral sound with strings. And then I finished up with the big brass AOC number 10. But that was my choices. You might find something else you like, which is fine.
You see on the aria, when you select song setup, it comes up with Ethel's organ on the top. And if you hit style setup normal, 0, it's now awesome organ.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he does change it slightly.
Yeah.
And then he goes to
So
piano
if you
and
want to
strings
use
on
the
number 1.
Ethel's organ, then when you finish the first part and you're going to box number 1, then that's when you would have to turn on your normal style setup and then touch a different
Right.
sound.
Right.
If you want the ethels, which I liked. I thought that was a nice sound.
Or create your own setups.
Or create your own, that's right. Very true. Okay, now I'm going to go to disco. And we'll take a look at that for a minute. Here, disco comes on also at 120. I'll let you hear the two intros first to see if you like using those. Here's intro number 1, A minor chord. Little bit harder to come in on the third beat with that particular intro. You would have to be able to hear it. Here's number 2. Same thing with intro 2. A little bit more difficult to come in. If you listen to this, 4, 3, 2, 1, 2, 3. Box number 2. Fill 2 measures. Coda. And I didn't use the ending. The way the pace of the music goes, I just anticipate hearing a quick stop. which is what I did. If I did use the ending, it would sound like this. I use the fill first.
Yeah, the way it ends in the song, to me, it just seems like there needs to be more. The way it ends, it just seems to end abruptly.
It does seem to end abruptly, which is why I ended abruptly without using the ending. But it will sound a little bit more rounded out if you use the ending, because then there's a little more finality to it. Where'd my disco go? Come back here. Use the fill. Now, I'm still on the fill.
That sounds better.
You like that better?
Yep.
Yeah, that's good. That's real good.
Did
So
that
which
come
did you
up at
like better?
120?
Did you like Ethel's or disco?
Disco, I
Ethels.
think.
Ethel's? Does
Yes.
somebody like a disco?
Yeah, I like disco.
I liked them both. The disco was interesting because on disco, the first sound is the synthesizer. So that gave it a little different personality with the synthesizer than Ethel's organ. The other thing I wanted to remind you of is if you are running the fill and you hit the ending will not begin until you let go of the fill. The fill will finish the measure and then the ending will begin. See if you can watch this. So I hit the ending, but I'm still on the fill. Now I'm off the fill. Here it goes.
Did disco come up at 120 also?
120. 120. So just remember that your fill overrides your ending until you let go. Which is good because you can hit the ending, but you can keep the fill going maybe one or two more measures, and then it builds up and gets even a little more complete before the ending jumps in and begins. Any questions? Nothing?
I have a general question.
You're brilliant. Yes.
I was fooling around with chords and I came across one I had never seen before, and that's called the C no 3. I'm wondering, when would that be used?
Key note 3.
No, C no 3.
C no 3.
Yeah, G, C,
Yes,
G.
I have seen that also.
So it's like a C chord without the E.
Yes, but
So when would you use that? Or what kind of music
well,
would
I
use
don't
that?
know because if you're using the easy play features, the third's going to be put in there anyway.
Right.
You'll only see that if you're actually doing it yourself.
Right. If you play the G, C, G,
And
you'll see it.
when is it going to get used? I don't know. I don't have an answer to that.
I had just never seen it before. I just wondered why it even existed.
I don't know.
That's not something Bill made up, right?
But
Like, that's a valid chord?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
But I play chords that I don't necessarily know what I played. Because my fingers just play the chords, like whatever my ear thinks it hears. my hand just does it. So I don't always know. Sometimes I'll play a chord, like I had to find the A flat augmented, because I heard what I played, I just didn't know what I played. So I had to go back and look at the screen and say, what was that? Oh, okay, that's an A flat augmented.
Can
And
you
because it
transfer
has
that
to be in
ability to
root,
us?
you really got to be in that position, because here, let me just put this on here for you. Here's my A minor. And all I do is flat the A and keep the C and the E, and it becomes A flat augmented. And then it goes to a C chord. But they're fast. It's 3 beats in a row, and every one has a different chord. So you may or may not decide to put that into your music or not. Otherwise, you do the A for 2 beats, and then A minor, 2 beats, and then play the C. 1, 2, 3, 4. Any other questions?
This is what I read on the internet.
Okay.
On sheet music, these are indicated with a written 5 under the notes to indicate the interval between the root and the fifth tones in the scale you're working with, or as a chord name indicating no third, for example, a power chord.
Power chord. That's just to make it sound heavier, louder.
Yeah, well, stronger of its depth anyway. I would also say the sound is going to change also depending on which pedal you play. Now, if you're not playing pedals, then it's just going to read from the chord and supply you with the automatic bass. But if you were playing pedals, that would be kind of the next question is, so if you're playing no third, C no third, then what am I playing in my pedal? Maybe I would be putting a third in my pedal instead. It's possible.
Mm.
But I haven't really messed with that too much. So I'm not sure if it's a good description to say my fingers and pedals, feet, they operate independently. Now, they all obviously come together, but my feet have their brain, my left hand has its brain, and my right hand has its brain. And I'm not sure, I mean, fortunately, all the brains seem to come together to make the music, but I don't give individual thought to the right hand, the left hand, or the pedal. It just does it.
Well, it looks to me as though they go on and say you can also play around with whether the fifth tone or the first tone is the bottom note and have fun with all of the combinations in an octave span. So it seems to me as though maybe that's just when you're playing with an octave span.
Yes, it could be. If you're playing full chords, regardless of whether you're playing pedals or not, if you're playing full chords, even if you have automatic bass, you can play your full chords in any position. And there's 3 positions. So you don't have to stick to one spot. I pretty much keep all my chords between F and F, but not always, I have to say. My hand moves around, and I don't always know that it's moving around. But that's, a lot of time playing. I mean, you don't need to worry about any of that. You're a hobbyist. You're just doing this for fun.
I think this more applies to guitar than it does keyboard.
could.
Because at the bottom of this article, there's a man with a guitar.
It could. Like I said, I didn't have the answer to that question. But I will check it out.
I don't know how I ever came across it, but
I know
I did.
people. I can find out. Because you hit something accidentally and the screen registered it.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. I've seen it.
I was trying to
And
figure out
I,
another.
like you, did not know
word.
what I had done to get that.
Mm.
But it did come up on the screen. Well, does anybody have any special plans for today?
Free hot dogs
Fun.
at the American Legion.
Ooh,
Not very pleasant in Scarborough.
I think
It's
it's
not
gonna.
raining, it's just yucky again for about the 10th day in a row.
Oy, oy, oy. I'm sorry to hear that.
Alligator races in the backyard, but 10
I think
Alligator races?
being I'm being facetious, Gary.
Oh, okay. You never know.
In Maine, we don't have alligators.
Well, I didn't think so. That's why.
I think it's gonna reach 100 here today.
To get to 96
What I don't
And-
like
and
humidity
about
today.
it has to be at least 8 days of. It's been constant, really, very, very humidity. Oh my goodness, take your breath away. But doesn't bother you at all if you stay in the air conditioning.
I went and picked 17 pounds of strawberries yesterday.
Wow.
Out in the field, it was hot.
And what are you gonna do with them?
I'm going to keep half of them out to eat, and the other half I'll freeze.
Good job. That's great. So you always have fresh.
Exactly.
Well, I hope that you'll take a moment before you get out and about or go into whatever you're going to do and play yourself some patriotic music. It's always a good feeling to hear that. And I didn't have that ready today, but because I don't have my USB on me right now, so I didn't want to put you on hold to go get it. But perhaps I will play the patriotic medley next week when we get on Zoom. How would that be? Would that be good?
Sounds good.
Okay. Have a wonderful day. Have a blessed week. Happy 4th of July. And do something special for yourself. And thanks for coming today. It was so great to see all of you. I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Have a
Thank
great
you.
day.
Okay.
Thanks, Joanie.
Happy 4th. Thank you.
Happy
Thank
Fourth.
you. Happy 4th. Bye-bye.
Bye.